Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Custom Shop YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a great review with my buddy Harry and his 2015 Chevy Camaro SS. All right, Harry, listen, it's super pleasure to have you here at the shop today. I know you've been a customer here for probably about 4 or 5 years. We're going to be open for 6 years this month, so you've been here pretty much since day one. I know I met you, you brought us a Honda Civic one time, right, to do some brakes. Yep. I don't think you thought that, like, you know, we would do basic maintenance or anything like that, but you reached out and we had you come by, we did the brakes. And it's cool because you went from this Civic to what's parked behind us, this beautiful Camaro. Why don't you tell us a little about it, when you got this car, what the deal with it is, where you bought it. You know, it's a beautiful color. Just give us a little info on this nice Camaro.
All right, so the car I drive behind me is a 2015 Camaro SS. 6-speed manual, proper way to buy a car, in my opinion. It's a
if it's offered.
If it's offered, of course, obviously.
Cars are
yeah. It's a green flash edition. It's a rare package. It's like one of like about 800 and something cars, so it's not a color you see that often. I want to give a shout out to my boy Joe at Ultra Auto Enterprise for helping me locate the car. If you guys need a car, give him a shout. Yeah, but you know, I bought the car. I wanted something that was reliable, fun, and a different platform to build.
Gotcha.
You know, but I wasn't sure what I wanted to do when I bought the car.
Nice. Have you always been an American car enthusiast? Because I know you've driven Honda, Mercedes-Benz. I know your father has really deep roots. He's a master Audi technician, right? Yeah. So like, what kind of propelled you into, you know, picking up a Camaro?
I'm a fan of all cars, and when it comes down to doing my builds, I like to do something that expresses who I am, but is also a different type of a build. So even if I see there's something that I like and I've seen too many of them done, I would like to give it my own little tweak by going a different route. And then with this car, you know, just given the fact that it was a rare color and
it had factory 21-inch wheels.
Yeah, factory 21-inch wheels. Which
is really cool.
Yeah.
Massive Brembo brakes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really dope package, man.
It is, man. It definitely is. And, you know, I'm a traditional car guy, I guess, in a sense. Like, I'm a true enthusiast. I like having a manual car, and I like the feeling of rolling through the gears and having fun with a car. And the Camaro at the time was a good bang for the buck. It makes good power.
Awesome.
LS3, 426 horsepower stock. The 6-speed manual, you had, you know, limited slip rear. You have factory Brembos on it.
Proven design, reliability.
Yeah, reliability. You know,
parts are easy to access.
Exactly.
Domestic.
Right. So
really cool.
It was a great platform, independent suspension. So that's another thing, you know.
That's true.
So it makes the car versatile. If I want to go fast in a straight line, if I want to make it just a handling car make it a canyon carver, I can do that. So I had options, and that's what I wanted.
I feel like they've really have built up the Camaro platform to really be that all-around kind of driving car. I mean, was it the ZL1 or one of these phenomenal packages, or Z28? It actually had some better times than like M3.
Yeah, the Z28, right? I set a record on the Nürburgring, if I'm not mistaken.
Pretty cool. So, I mean, obviously it's nothing to scoff at, you know?
Yeah.
But it's interesting because you see so many people take this platform and they're really more like focused on, you know, a lot of power, a lot of speed, straight line, drag style stuff, which is great. I mean, I love a good drag race and I love a car with a lot of power, but it seems like you kind of went a little different route. Now, I know at first, I think your intentions were just pack a lot of power into its American muscle, right? But that kind of changed over time. Like I've noticed, you know, working with you and helping you select the modifications that you did, it really kind of, you know, brought this into the world of really an all-around driving car that really encompasses handling, braking, power, and even style. What made you make that switch? Because I know we were looking at the Magnuson supercharger, and not to say that, you know, boosting the car, adding force induction wouldn't make it an all-around driver's car, but that's a lot of power, you know, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, what was the idea behind that?
Well, originally when I bought the car, I was a little undecided on how I wanted to do it. And then looking up Camaros in general, or any muscle car, they're known for flat out speed. I mean, that's what most guys do, flat out speed in a straight line, which is fun. Listen, cars are meant to be driven on the road. Guys like to go fast. If the true car enthusiast wants to drive a car and see where its limits are set at. But when I bought the Camaro, I was a little undecided. So my thing was I wanted to buy it, get it sorted maintenance-wise.
Gotcha.
And let the car talk to me and see where I wanted to go. So when I first bought the car, first thing I did was the brakes.
Yes.
We upgraded the rotors. We had stop tech crossroad rotors, pads.
Nice.
Stainless steel brake lines, .4 brake fluid.
Right.
We did the Hurst short shifter.
I remember.
Because I wanted a little better engagement. I had a little slop in the shifter when I first got it.
It's super direct now.
Yeah, so now it's super crisp.
What
super,
a nice drive, dude.
It really changes the dynamic of driving the car. And then I enjoyed it like that for a while. Put brand new tires on it.
Yeah.
PS2s I had at the time. And I drove it. And
stock
then
suspension for a while,
stock suspension, yeah, for a while. Then K&N intake. And that's how I drove it for like 6-8 months.
Right.
And then what changed everything for me is when we did that mountain drive.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we had a
so
Sunday slicer up in Bear Mountain. I want to say it was like July 2018.
Yeah, definitely. There's a couple of videos on our YouTube channel of like some good car runs and stuff. If you guys want to check it out. But yeah, sometimes on Sundays and stuff, we'll get a couple of clients together, a couple of car guys, from the shop, and we'll go take a run, whether it be, up on the mountain or, all these good back roads. But yeah, so we went one time together.
Yeah.
And then you said like from then on, you kind of got hooked on, driving those roads and, taking those turns and just kind of like grand touring. And I think you just started to go into the realm of like just building this as an all around, driver.
Yeah.
So after you had it with those basic like mods, I would say, right? I mean, that was a basic kind of like OEM plus setup, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And we started to get a little more involved, which is cool because I think even to the end, you still considered pretty much OEM plus, right?
Yep, pretty much, yeah.
But it's like hyper OEM plus.
Yeah.
It's like these parts that you would normally probably get them aftermarket, but it's cool because there's such a GM parts bin for this stuff that you can actually pick and choose from within the brand. Yeah. So there's definitely some aftermarket stuff going on there, but a lot of the OEM parts are just really, really high-end stuff.
Thank you, man.
So I know we added some, pretty basic parts at first, but then there was a point where you kind of came in and we really started the overhaul on this vehicle. Let us know, dude, what was the first wave? I remember a lot of the parts, but obviously you'll know down to a T. So when you brought it into us, I know we started with a good couple of things at first. Why don't you run everybody through, what we were doing for you?
Yeah, so once I figured out where I wanted to take the car, at that point I knew I needed a solid foundation. So at the time we had the brakes already done. So that was taken care of.
The carbon ceramic?
No, we had
the stop
first
tech
stop
okay.
tech.
So the second wave, though, eventually we planned on doing an even bigger brake setup.
Right. So we knew we needed a solid foundation, and we knew that the car was a good platform. So I needed a suspension to go with the brakes.
Right.
The car made decent power. So with the brakes, I wanted to do everything all at once, which to me makes the most sense. Just get everything done and have it sorted, ready to go.
Right.
So I went with BMR suspension, level 4 kit.
Nice.
Replaced every bushing underneath the car. We had new glow control arms, tie rod ends, sway bars. Everything on the suspension is brand new on the car. New end links, the whole 9.
That was quite a job.
Yeah.
That was cool. I mean, not only is it the polyurethane bushings, but there's this extra like chassis bracing.
Yeah.
So they have these great like cross member pieces that bolt onto the chassis on the bottom that really stop like a lot of the twists and everything. It's a really cool kit. I always recommend that kit to so many Camaro people that come through. A lot of people like to kind of go for what's super flashy or obvious or like right there in your face. So sometimes they might overlook something like that, but if I could tell you, man, like that's something that I'm sure when you did it, you were like, shit, like I should have done this a while ago. Like, that is something that really, really beefs up the feel and the handling of that car big time. So I thought like big move on that, which was cool because you can get away with some sway bars, coilovers, and you still have a good handling car, but to go even deeper and add those pieces, that stage 4 kit from BMR, that really woke it up as far as the handling and response, dude, for sure.
Yeah.
I noticed a huge difference test driving your car with that. Absolutely.
It totally changed the whole characteristics of the car. I mean, the car just felt glued to the road.
Yeah.
And the best part about it, and I give GM credit, but also BMR makes great quality products. And
for sure.
The fitment, honestly, which I'm a big stickler for, and the quality of the parts is really good. And like you said, I didn't want something flashy. So with the BMR, they have options with the finishes. So they had a red finish and they had a hammer tone gray.
Yeah.
And I wanted the car to look OEM plus. That's always how I want any build that I do to be. I want it to be just a little better than the factory, but make it my
Something
own
they
at the
would
same
have
time.
made. Like it almost
Right.
like came out of the factory that
Right.
way, but it's like your spin on it a little bit.
But to the untrained eye, you put this thing on the lift, you're not really going to notice anything different other than the BCs that are
Right.
on there, which is
Exactly.
another segue on the suspension now.
Yeah.
The BMRs came with a lowering kit, and when we discussed it at the time, I wanted
Right.
to get a nice strut setup to go with it, but then looking at the pricing compared to the functionality that I would get out of it,
Right. Yeah, so it came with a lowering spring, that
Yeah.
kit, and then we were like, all right, we have these springs. Obviously, we're going to get into some shocks. So we started looking, at different shock options and stuff. And we were finding that, by the time you kind of spent all that money, you were in the realm of actually just getting adjustable suspension or adjustable coilover setup. There wasn't too much out there for this car that wasn't like hyper expensive, right? Like real super track oriented stuff. But honestly, we just went with a set of BC coilovers, dude. And, I always recommend them to people. I think, if you're trying to get your hands on some good suspension that's adjustable, that you can really set your preload and your height and dampening, for that $1,000 mark or $1,200 mark, I think that's a great zone to be in. And some quality suspension, dude. It really is. I think, that was a good way to go, dude. Because imagine you did this kind of super aggressive wheel setup and you didn't have adjustable suspension, and then you put your lowering springs on and you got a little rub here, or like you just didn't have the stance that you wanted. You were kind of just be set in that mode. So, definitely the adjustable coilover, I should say, was one of the better things I think you did for this build. Absolutely. Shout out to BC for that, man, for making something that's, doesn't kill the pockets, but provides a lot of fun, for sure. Yeah. That's a good setup.
Yeah, it definitely was, man. And I can honestly thank you for that, because I was...
Yeah,
I would have never thought about it. Going in, I was just going to do the full BMR, and then when we discussed, which is one of the good things I'd say about coming here and discussing builds with you, was just that you were able to really visualize what I wanted, how I wanted to build a car, and what purpose I was building it for.
Right.
So we knew that there may be track day events we would go to together.
Correct.
Backyard, a back road driving and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we knew that, hey, maybe you'll want to adjust it here, raise it up, maybe adjust the dampening.
Exactly.
And I wasn't going to get that with the springs. And for the money...
And if you ever threw your stock wheels or you ever did anything like that, you can kind of raise it a little bit, if you wanted to. So yeah, having that adjustability is definitely what it's all about. That was awesome. Absolutely. Really cool. What else as far as suspension? It has sway bars in it too, correct?
Yeah, it came with sway bars and all that good stuff. But then we got the Vorschlag camera plates.
Yeah, that was cool because I guess that'll kind of segue into the wheel and tire setup. So really nice wheel and tire setup on here. Apex wheels. They recently, I would say, in the spectrum of their whole business, probably recently started making wheels that really fit for these Camaros. Perfect offsets, perfect sizing, hub-centric setups, absolutely beautiful. And this setup's really aggressive. It's a 19x11 in the front and a 19x12 in the rear. We're running some Michelin Pilot Sports on it, right?
PS4s, man.
PS4, which is a phenomenal sticky tire. 305 tire in the front, 325 in the rear. So these things are really fat. At first, they were so aggressive that they would exceed a little bit of the quarter panels and a little bit of the fenders, so we had to make a way to kind of tie it in. So I know the Vorschlag camber plates we added to the front, we were able to kind of tuck the front wheels just in a little bit. But I think adding the Z28 fender flare package, which again brings us back to the OEM Plus, style, that over fender just gave the body just enough width to sit right over the tires, like just right. It's absolutely beautiful. And those flares actually play into side skirts and a front aero kit, right? So that's kind of part of a full setup. So we actually added those pieces as well. So this isn't, so it's a Z28 Aero kit on an SS. Right?
Yeah, with a little couple different touches. We have the Anderson Composites carbon fiber hood vent.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Anderson Composites Z28 reverse spoiler.
Right, so the spoiler's OEM, but then that add-on we added to it just to give that little wick in the back. It looks really good. Nice and clean. Side skirts as well.
Yeah, side skirts as well. OEM stuff,
And it's nice. Your Corsa exhaust, too, sits beautifully. So you have 4 nice, angle cut, double wall, stainless tips, polished, sit in the rear diffuser. Just looks really nice. Everything ties together really well. That's the beauty of a lot of these parts, quality parts and OEM parts. They fit well. It's not like you're kind of contradicting them. You get one part, it, doesn't mix with the other part. Like this build, everything sits really seamless and just really clean and tight. And that's kind of what you're looking for. But yeah, those wheels are absolutely phenomenal. Massive, massive wheels. To have an 11-inch wide wheel in the front, and 12 in the back. I mean, that's dope. And it's not like a stance car or anything like that.
No, not
it's something
at all.
you can get in and like drive the shit out, which is cool. But I think like the Star is definitely the second brake upgrade, the most recent brake upgrade, which would probably be the last brake upgrade. I can't see you going much higher.
No
than
way.
That.
No way.
Tell us a little about the brakes, dude, because this is something that is really special. Not the cheapest conversion, right?
Not at all.
But definitely something that's worth it. Another way you kind of went the extra mile and just kind of maxed out in that realm. What's going on with the brakes, man?
All right, so for the second round of brakes, when we went to go and upgrade them, I wanted to do something a little special. And
so it's a full big brake kit.
Yeah.
That's what, exactly. Yeah. So.
And in keeping with the tradition of the build and how we like to build our cars, we wanted to go for the OEM Plus route. And what better way than getting GM's best performance brake setup, which is the carbon ceramic brake setup out of the Z28.
That's sick.
And,
which is shared by the Corvette
ZR1. Yeah, so we have
ZR1. Sorry, yeah.
Z601 rear 4-piston calipers with Z28 front calipers, which we got custom painted. Powder coated, excuse me.
Right.
And we got the front decals to match the rear, just to give it that little extra pop and
that was
those
cool.
GM guys guessing on what I had. Now it's out there, but
exactly,
it sets my car apart from the other cars.
Right.
And originally I wasn't either gonna go with this shade of yellow. I wanted to go with a different color.
Right.
But I'm happy we went the route we did because it kept it classy.
Yeah, we had the brakes. We had the calipers, I should say, powder coated by static coating.
Yeah.
We did a great job. They look great. There was a little bump in the road with these brakes though. So I think what happened is you had ordered, or I should say an online vendor put you in the direction of, you had asked them, listen, what brakes would work? I want to do the Corvette conversion. And they referred you the Corvette, ZR1 front brakes, the calipers with the carbon ceramic rotor setup. Problem is that the Corvette front caliper really does not bolt up to the Camaro spindle. The rear is the same. We're good on the rear. So what we had to do was, unfortunately, had to kind of scrap those two front calipers, and the online vendor didn't take them back. It's a whole nother story. That sucks. But what we did find out was that, if we just use Z28 calipers, that it does work. It fits right up to the spindle. So it's pretty cool. So really the Corvette and the Camaro share the same rotors front and rear, the same rear calipers, but the front calipers are different. They're not different in means or in a way of size. They're still a 6-piston setup. They look identical, but the mounting holes, like the 2 holes on there that would bolt up to the spindle, they're actually on a Camaro positioned differently than on a Corvette. So we found that out the hard way, but through GM we were able to access those. We had to re-powder coat the fronts now to match the rear. And even though those were Camaro Z28 calipers, they're the exact same caliper you would have found on the Corvette, less the mounting setup.
Right.
So we went ahead and actually just kind of converted those or re-powder coated them, put the Corvette emblem so we can kind of stay true to the style and bolted them up. But it fit well. The braking is absolutely phenomenal.
It's an OEM part.
It's an OEM part.
You can't beat that. Now, if you ever need parts again, you can always just go and order them.
That's the cool thing, and the longevity of these parts is like absolutely ridiculous. Like you shouldn't have to be replacing rotors and pads for probably the life of the car, which is pretty cool. So that was definitely a huge upgrade.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, and that's probably a more costly upgrade than you would even spend on a normal big brake kit.
Of course.
From Stop Tech I mean, Brembo stuff is pretty high up there, but that setup was quite up there. But that's what a phenomenal brake setup. Now I know there's probably a lot of people watching like, oh man, like he has brakes for a car that goes 200 miles an hour and is going to be stopping from 150 down to 0 or whatever. Sure, people might say it's overkill or what may be, but if you think about it, sometimes putting these overkill parts is kind of cool because they're never working at their full potential. Right. So now Harry's going to be able to beat the crap out of his car, and whatever he can do, he'll never be able to exceed the performance of those brakes. So it's kind of true with the rest of the vehicle too. So you kind of over-engineer it so that it lasts, rather than maxing out every piece of this car every time you're driving. Right. So something like this has longevity and reliability, and I definitely respect that. It's a super clean build, 100%. It's gorgeous. Interior has some really cool doodads too, man. We talked about the Hurst shifter, which is spot on. It's mated to a Stage 2 ACT clutch, right?
Yeah, and flywheel.
And flywheel, so that's, what a great setup. I mean, that really woke up the car too, dude.
It did, yeah,
Like, wow, you know, you really send them home, dude. Like, the way it shifts is great. And it's not terrible. It's not very heavy.
No.
It's something you can drive, you know, daily, I would say, right? If you need, I know you don't drive the car daily, but if you had to take it to work and stuff back and forth, it's not a terrible clutch.
Right.
You know, it's a really, really nice setup, dude. Absolutely. Again, it just feels like something that would have came straight from GM, which I definitely respect. I know we recently installed a great head unit.
Yeah.
Carplay radio.
Yeah, it's awesome, man.
Which is sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's super clean, dude. I think the dash kit makes it look completely OEM plus, and it's wireless CarPlay.
Yeah. Which
Which is cool because you don't really find that too much. It's becoming more popular now.
Yeah.
You know, BMW factory, Volkswagen, stuff like that. They offer wireless CarPlay, but to find it in an aftermarket head unit was cool. So that was a Pioneer radio in there. It worked out quite well. And that dash kit, it's cool because the dash kit deletes the climate controls.
Yeah, so it deletes the analog controls, and now you have a dedicated button on that dash kit where you can actually, the radio is integrated into the climate controls. You can control it through there, which is cool because it totally refreshed the interior in the car.
Yeah.
So now it gives it a more modern look. It's sleek and it goes with the overall theme of the car that we were going with, which is that OEM plus.
Right, because these cars, the performance, motor, even the body styles, they last, but the technology gets outdated quite quickly, especially nowadays. I mean, you buy an iPhone, 6 months later, you know, it's cooked, you know, the new iPhone's out, whatever, you know. But same thing with the car technology, man. These head units 2-3 years later, like, you're looking down at your head unit and you're like, Jesus, this looks like archaic, right?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
So this was a nice way to kind of bring it, you know, into 2020, because everything else in the car is just right. It's just like, you know, just little things like technology and stuff. So having that head unit was a great choice, you know, absolutely. Any plans on expanding the audio?
Maybe. I mean, probably upgrade a speaker system.
Cool.
Maybe a subwoofer, but again, the car is all about that OEM plus look, and it's also about balance.
Right.
The car is really balanced on with suspension, the brakes. Want a little more power, not gonna lie, just a little bit more. That's probably gonna be coming next year.
And you would keep it probably NA power at this point, right?
There's nothing like an NA V8 down the back roads. You mean you heard the car? It's an addictive feeling, addictive sound.
Absolutely, and it's gonna be more special, I think, as the years go by and we start to get more into EV stuff and smaller displacement and turbocharging. You know, I think having just a straight up V8 with a manual transmission is just like a raw classic way to drive a car, which is really cool. So to have something like that in the future is going to be good. And I know you've told me many times you're not going to sell this car. You're not getting rid of this car. I know it's very special to you and your pop, which is really cool. So that's great. You guys share that, which is wonderful. But that's a great car. What performance parts do you think you're going to be adding in the future to make that a little more power?
Intake manifold.
Intake manifold, or a lot more power, I should say. Right? Cam?
Yeah, cam injectors.
Very nice.
Maybe get some lightweight pulleys or something like that.
Nice, get a new tune on it.
Yeah, new tune.
Right now it has a tune.
Yeah.
Vinny 10 Racing.
Yeah, shout out to Vinny 10.
You know, you have a great tune on this car. I mean, it's super clean. Car drives phenomenally.
Yeah, great customer service over there, man. They really recommended them.
Yeah, we just know they're, you know, good tuners in the, you know, in the New York area. So we said, check them out. But, you know, we spoke to them a few times over the phone as a shop, and they're just really cool people. So, you know, that was really cool. So I'm glad that worked out well for you. So you got the Vinny 10 logo and you got custom shop right there. So it's a good combo build, you know, absolutely. What else are we missing on this car, man?
Mishimoto radiator.
There you go.
Aluminum radiator, Mishimoto oil cooler, silicone hoses. We have a Mishimoto thermostat.
Right.
Evans high performance coolant in there.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is
Mishimoto oil cooler as well, right?
Yeah, oil cooler. Yeah.
Very cool.
And it definitely made a difference. I mean, again, the car may be overbuilt, really, because I don't drive it every day. But the whole point of it is, I want to be able to go out there, drive the car at its limit, without there being any issues. And I want peace of mind. Really feel like you can't put a price on peace of mind, and there's nothing better than you know,
spend a couple bucks, get the right stuff, plan your build out. You know, so you're not losing in the end. You're not double spending, or you're not having issues with your parts. You know, so this car is a really good example of a car that was built with a lot of parts, improved, you know, performance-wise, you know, way more than when it came out the dealer, and you really didn't like sacrifice or hinder much.
Right.
I mean, it's lower. The apron, you know, the front valance is really aggressive, so obviously it's not easy to get in and out of these driveways. But I mean, other than that, really, like, you know, you really improved it all around, which is great. So some cars, you know, you got a gift to get, but this car seems like it just got, and it was just right. I've had the pleasure of driving it many times. we were sorting out the brakes and get everything going, I was driving around Astoria, and you know, it's just a really, really fun car to drive. Absolutely, dude. You know, for sure. Yeah, cool. So we can cut there, right? What else are we missing?
Future plans for the interior. I mean,
future plans for interior. Okay,
we haven't
cool.
gone over the steering wheel. I mean, shift
Gotcha.
wheel,
Okay,
stuff
nice.
like that too.
Gotcha. All right, cool. So let's go. Yeah. Ready?
2, 3, action.
Nice. So right, other than the shifter and the phenomenal head unit, there are some other interior pieces that I think you should mention that look great. For one, the steering wheel.
Yeah, it's a Camaro. It's a Camaro SS1LE steering wheel.
Got it.
So it's a suede steering wheel.
Super clean.
Yeah, super clean. I wanted the OEM plus all around. Like, and the nice leather one was cool. I mean, it was just regular black leather, but I wanted something to give me a little contrast. And with the interior in the car, it has these like dark grayish accents.
Right.
And I felt that steering wheel fit nice with the stitching that matched the seats. So it had a lighter gray stitching. Yeah, and the feel of it's nice too when you're driving. You know? And so I got that, and I got the Camaro SS1LE shift boot as well.
Nice,
which complements the Hurst shifter, I think, really well in that
That's
car.
clean, dude.
Yeah, it's really clean.
Nice suede shift boot with, like, you know, the beautiful Hurst shifter. It just it really looks great on the interior.
Yeah.
I know we were talking a little bit about maybe even swapping the seats out.
Yes.
Maybe a little harness bar action.
Yeah, definitely.
So the interior is definitely going to see some fun stuff. What seats are we looking at? Recaro
GTs?
Recaro Sportster GT, yeah. What a great seat. So those are going to look phenomenal in there.
Yeah, maybe some Schroff harnesses, maybe sprinkled in with a little yellow to match the brakes. I think would be nice.
Now, I know you're big on the OEM Plus. Why not go for an OEM seat?
All right. So
because there's good options out there. There's Recaros from like CTSV, stuff like that, right? I'm sure Corvette has some badass seats. Well, you know, I mean, they fit, but you know.
I mean, again, it goes back to the vision for the car. So again, you know, the car is not a light car,
right?
You know, and then if we were to do even dollar per pound on a used set of Recaros, I mean, we've priced them out plenty of times trying to find the set that's in good shape in itself is hard to find. And then
that's true.
To buy a set of used Recaros and get them reupholstered.
And then they're heavy as shit.
Yeah, they're heavy as shit. And then, you know, I would want something that's still going to be lighter.
True.
You know? And still is aesthetically pleasing to look at. That really makes the interior pop a little more.
Right.
So I think the Recaro GTs are a good option. I mean, these weigh like probably 50-something pounds a piece.
Wow.
The Recaro GTs, I think we said probably about 20 pounds, maybe
a
little less.
Yeah.
So, you know, and I like the little details in those Recaro GTs where it's got like the carbon weaving in it and stuff. It's really cool. Carbon stitches, I believe is what it is, right?
Yeah, really clean.
Yeah, with some nice Schroff harnesses, and then we even talked about rear seat delete.
Yeah, that'd be
great.
Yeah, that'd be great. Maybe a little half cage in the back or just a harness bar.
Yeah, nice satin black to like keep it super clean.
Maybe we could do a rear seat delete in suede.
In suede, yeah, that'd be dope. Maybe even a suede headliner too to go with that.
That'd be really nice. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So it seems like you throw so many parts of the car, and it seems like oh, I think I've maxed it out. But then if you really think about it, it never stops. There's a whole other world, you know, of stuff that we're going to be getting into that I'm really excited for. You know, especially the interior stuff. You know, that's going to be great. What else are we missing?
On the car right now. I mean,
carbon fiber drive shaft is coming up too.
Yeah, looking at drive shaft options. I mean, I would like to re-gear the rear end, to be honest.
Sure.
They got the 391 gear set from GM Performance, so that's something I'm thinking about.
That's pretty cool. I know they sell the whole rear end, or we can actually just you know, service the diffs.
Yeah.
All the diff, I should say. Yeah, that'd be cool. I think that'd be a great upgrade. Carbon fiber drive shaft, gear upgrade.
Yeah.
That would work really well.
I think that with the power mods will be doing.
This is LSD, now it has to be.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're good to go.
Yeah.
That's sweet, dude.
Yeah, because the drivetrain, we started, I mean, we did the clutch and the flywheel, but I just wanted to complete whatever section of the car that I work on.
Sure.
And that's something that we were talking about, you know, in our many conversations that we had, about where we want to take this build next. I mean, it's just about making small little touches. And it may sound crazy because to the untrained eye, you don't really look at this car and say, oh,
yeah, it
where'd the
doesn't
money
seem
go?
like it has so much in it.
But I like that because when you look at it, you say, hey, something's a little different about that car, but that's what makes my car unique, in my opinion.
That's cool.
You can't tell whether it was built or whether it was bought like that from the dealership.
Right.
And I think that's cool because that just proves about the quality of the parts and the quality of the work at the shop here, you know. So
yeah, the team really pulled together, dude. I mean, we had Anand back there, and he was doing all the aero work, which he did a great job on. Brian has been absolutely just killing it mechanically on this car. Trinity Man's been killing it. You know, so it's been a really good group effort, you know, to get this car on the road. and just build it over the past 2 years. And it's just a pleasure to see it, drive it, and have it out there. And it works. And you built a car that you can get into every day or whenever you want and drive it.
Right.
It's not like, oh, I drove it, now I have to like repair it or tweak it. Because I have a car like that. I have a car that's like so modified, my old school car that like you drive it once, you fix it 3 times, that's just how it is. But there's something to be said about a car that's built well-rounded, performance-oriented, really, has a great plethora of parts, and it's reliable, and it works, So that's kind of the best build for me, for sure. It was an absolute phenomenal car. As far as next season, I know the season was kind of out the window with, pandemic and all that stuff going on, but hopefully, I don't know, maybe by spring or summer 2021, maybe things will be a little lighter and get out there and do some track days and stuff like that, right?
Yeah, that was the plan originally this year.
Yeah.
This spring, we were looking forward to actually getting everything done. Even with COVID, we ordered these wheels the end of February.
Right.
Because you told me specifically order them before spring comes, because that's when everybody orders their wheels.
Correct.
I hustled. We order our wheels only to find out
boom.
from Apex that they were delayed. But
Guy eats a bat, and here we are.
Great customer service, man. They kept in touch with you the whole time.
Yeah, they were cool.
You kept letting me know what's going on with my wheels, and
Yeah.
it took a while, but it was worth the wait.
I think it was the color, like the anthracite color,
Yeah.
was something that we really waited for.
Yeah.
And that's cool too, because these Apex wheels come in silver, anthracite, bronze, and even black.
Yeah.
So I think the anthracite, or the gunmetal gray, was really a perfect color for this.
Right.
Absolutely. And then, in combination with the yellow caliper and the green paint, I just think these colors really, really pop, and they just look good, for sure. The red calipers would have been cool, but I don't know, the red on the green, again, isn't bad, but...
Yeah, and red's been done too much. Yellow is different.
The yellow on the green pops.
Yeah, it definitely does, and I'm happy we went that route, because I knew I wanted something to pop, and I remember when we discussed the brake setup, because they were a mismatched set, so I had grays for the front and then yellows for the rears, because we had pieced it together. And
we were going to go either one or the other. Like, should we keep them silver? Gray.
Or even do something different, because we even discussed orange at one point.
Right, orange would have been cool. Or even like the copper from like AMG would have been dope.
Yeah, that would have been dope too.
But I think the gray caliper behind the gray wheel
was too much.
It wouldn't look bad, but you'd kind of lose it. So having that contrast color is really the way to go, man.
Yeah.
But that's great, man. This car is absolutely phenomenal. Again, 2015 Chevy Camaro SS, Green Flash Edition, OEM Plus with a little touch of aftermarket, owned by our man Harry. Harry's an Astoria local, right? Queens dude.
Yeah, man.
Queens is the car borough.
Yeah.
If anybody out there is watching for the other boroughs, we love you guys, but gotta bring it home for Queens in the cars,
Always,
man. We got some good stuff out here, man. Yeah, absolutely. Now I know, last but not least, honorable mention, the Valentine 1 radar.
Yeah.
Right? Because no fast car is that great without a good radar, right? Absolutely. So
everyone needs a safety net.
Everyone needs a safety net, man. And for anybody watching this, I wasn't a huge radar guy for many years. I was just like, it is what it is. How good could they be? But I recently had purchased myself a radar probably about a year ago. And I can tell you, I don't know if it's that I have a radar now that I drive faster because I know I have the radar, or it's just that now this radar is just saving me all over the place. But there's definitely been some close calls, man. Where that radar has come in.
Even
really
driving together, we've had it where
dude, there's nothing like it's one time it's worth it.
Yeah.
You buy this thing and then like the one time it sounds off and like you slow it up and then you see a little cop on the highway and it's like yes, you know what I mean? Saves you a good couple $100 and some points in your license. So definitely anybody with these cars out here, and again, we're not condoning you going a million miles an hour on the highway or whatever, but even a normal situation, 80, 90 on the turnpike or something, and you want to just have your radar out, good call, man. But it's a Valentine 1, hardwired into the car.
Yeah.
So again,
nice clean install like everything else.
Yeah,
so
you don't get your cigarette lighter all fucking around looking like some spaghetti or whatever.
Yep.
So it's hardwired, definitely important to have in any of these performance cars, absolutely. Harry, listen, I just wanted to say thank you so much for joining us tonight on our YouTube channel. I know it's a weeknight and you got work and it's pretty late right now, but we're honored to have you come out and talk about this beautiful build. We appreciate your business. It's been a huge pleasure to work on this over the past 2 years, and we can't tell you how excited we are to see where it's going to go in the future. So shout out to Harry, shout out to Roscoe, the man behind the lens, and shout out to everybody watching this episode. If you've followed us so far and you've been tuning into our channel, please subscribe, give a thumbs up, turn on those notifications, tell all your friends. There's some real New York car shit going on here. Watch our channel, we'd really appreciate it. Drop any comments down below, and we'll see you on the next one. Oh, sorry. Make sure to follow Harry. He's on Instagram at HarryMark86. That's HarryMarc86. No underscore, no nothing in there to follow his Camaro build. We'll see you online. Peace. That's clean.
You do that because I just did a thumbs up. I felt like it was awkward.
All right, you want to do that's good. Let's chill. We're both like you. Just chill. It's whatever.
Thumbs up too?
Yeah, we're like, yeah. That was really cool, dude. Absolutely, man. Hell yeah, dude. Fire. We killed it, dude. That was clean. That was good. That was solid, tits. That was super good. Kidding me? That was wonderful. I feel like we both talked